have been crazy, but that's just alright.
Hi everyone out there in the land of social media, welcome to the First Call Plus. Nice to have you joining us. I have Aidan Wadley and Jason Tarn with me, and we're kicking things off with race number 3 on the card from Hastings. It is the 1600 metre Tarzino Mile, where we have $3.30 for Beefeater, a horse well supported last start, Jason, but was unable to run, of course, with the abandonment of the meeting.
Yeah, bookies with a little heads up there and winding it in accordingly. Nice play, guys. Promised to Rain, $4.80, showed a great turn of foot when resuming. In a race that was really slowly run. What did you make of the pace for this race?
Before we get to it, just interesting to see the moves there because Brighton has come out. That's why these prices have all shortened, and we'll go and have a look at the map for you now. And yeah, Heaven's Keep likely to get on speed, gets probably a softish lead with Hushed. Quite happy to sit on the outside for mine. Trevor, my friend, and Camino Coso will go forward. Trevor, my friend, getting a lovely trail. Promise to Rain. Expect them to be positive there. Beefeater getting back on the outside.
Let's take a look at Trevi, my friend's victory last time to the races. Beats own profile here. Heavens Keep up the inside. Jason Tarn, a horse you're relatively keen on in this lineup. Tell us why.
He gets a few things in his favour compared to this day. I thought the track was sort of on the heavy slider, slow at Harwater, and that's not really optimum for Heavens Keep. Gets a weight swing in his favour with Trevi, my friend, as well for Sunday. I think with a soft lead again, he can turn around. He's at 15. That's a really good each-way price. He runs okay at Hawke's Bay. He's won there before. Runs okay the distance.
It's a 5 kilogram swing on a 2-length margin.
Yeah.
Now on that measure, he should be turning the tables on Trevor, my friend. Trevor, my friend, does get a nice trail in the race, and he's really progressive. I'm a big fan of Trevor, my friend, but the map, the weights, there's a few things pointing towards Heaven's Keep, and at the money. Look, he's got to be the value play in the race.
It just seems like a little bit of a messy race. And so if he does get the front and Timothy Johnson with that 2 kilos off can rate him optimally, then I can definitely see him causing an upset at the price.
Yeah, I like Promise to Rain in this race as well. She's a horse whose first up run at Hastings was terrific, and I think it's a contender. Camino Rocosa has another decent chance in the race, and you expect improvement from that first up run, Jason.
You'd want to, because it wasn't great. But I think you'll get it.
It was a sit-sprint race, and he was a victim of circumstances.
He's entitled to sprint better than he did, in my opinion.
First start, come on.
I know, but so that's what I mean. You want to see improvement because you'd need to, because he didn't deliver to what I think many people wanted him to.
Okay. Windsor Park stud 2100 metres. Let's take a look at the market for that on the undercard at Hastings. We have $2.50 here for High Lad, $5.50 for King Oberon, $5 a piece about King Cravan and Bellum. The 4 up the top of the book here, single figures, Jason, and they are dominating.
Yeah, no BT Junior in this race, no Gobstopper in this race. So a High Lad looks like he's going to be the pace in it, you'd say, Aidan?
Well, he's a horse who needs to be improving, you'd think, on that last run. He's beaten out of sight at Te Awamutu last time out, albeit an open company, but it was hardly an open class field. So, yeah, he's a horse who will go somewhere near the speed in this race as well. So it's a tricky little speed map. What do they do with Bellum? Do you think they'll go forward or back?
I think they might try and go forward, but he is only second up. And he's yeah, I'd say you'd want to be positive because there's not a heck of a lot of speed in there.
It was a race where certainly we haven't shown a map here. I've just found it too hard to get a handle on the speed in this race.
I thought King Cravan mapped really well. Bookmakers haven't missed him. I thought he would probably sit, third the rail, get a nice soft run, comes in okay with that claim once more, and forgive that second day run at Hastings on that track. I think
first day run was terrific, wasn't it?
Exactly. Really I think that track on the second day you can explain.
Bostock New Zealand Spring Carnival finale. Next race we're looking at race number 9 at Hastings on Sunday, and $6.20 Euphoria and Yearn have to go down to runners 12 and 13 to find them. We've got Box of Chocolates at $9.50, Odisha $8.80 and Decades at $7.80, and we'll scroll the page up here and see the rest at double figures. Wide open affair to round out the day. Jason, have you singled one out for us?
I think you explained it well. It is very wide open, and you'll be looking to prices to try and get your lead. Look, Euphoria is a horse that I have a bit of time for. If she was suited last time to the 990. Like the way she races, sometimes she can get quite keen. So, stepping up to 1400, maybe that's a question mark. But she's bred to do it, and she's racing more tractably than when she did earlier in her career. you've got to sort of cluttered up back of midfield there?
I have. There's a lot of horses here, and I have mapped them all, just be aware. So there's one of these horses still to come out. We've seen Vinevale scratched already. I have also mapped in there Vino Blanco, who's not in the field at this stage, and one of these horses will have to come out as a third emergency. But there's a lot of pressure, I thought, in here. Arraignment, Hank Moody couldn't get in with Barter Bullet. I'm sure they'll press forward there with Lord Sibford as well. But this is a race where there are some very good horses. I thought this was one of the fields of the day. Look at a horse like Shared Secret even. Here's a horse who was last seen in the Oaks, was only a length away from Bonneville a couple of starts back. Now that's amazing form. Box of Chocolates goes well, fresh. Obviously Profile, Decades, just a really nice race.
Let's take a look at Yearn's victory when last it timed to the races. Here it is, about to pop out of a pocket in the green sleeves, Jason. Is this the sort of run you would look at form-wise and say it'll be winning on Sunday?
Well, the way that she attacked the line the last 100 metres, even though it was on the inside better part of the track, you had to sort of sit up and take notice, because that's on the back of a more dominant, and you'd expect being down the grade, but more dominant Tarapa win. So she's exploded at Tarapa, and then she's done that late doors at Hastings. Yeah, definitely she's one of those that you'd consider. But yeah, I do like what you say about Shared Secrets. That race that you spoke of, you know, one of those races at Trentham, she was making good ground wide out. She's a real smoky, and she trialled up all right. So she's one that I wouldn't be letting get under your guard.
I've got a smoky in this race as well, but just going back to you, and I thought a terrific ride from Troy Harris. He was just in a tricky position, switched ground, got to the right part of the track, and then Yearn's obviously good enough to let down. But Excuses at the top of the page has run 3 lengths faster time-wise. Now this horse is going to be second up. Sidewink has come off and gets the claim. Now it's a horse who I've sort of got it as my third pick in the race, because I was taken by Yearn, and I'm also a big fan of Adisha. That win at Pukekohe was great as well. But Excuses under times and measures does figure in this race for sure. Looks competitive.
Yep, some people will be throwing the dart there in the last at Hastings on Sunday. Rotorua is where we head next for race number 6. This is the ISCL 1400 metres, a rating 85 race, and $4 for Royal Success in the middle of the page. Owen Patrick's on here, Aidan. 480 Romantic Maid.
It's a good race here again as well with Royal Success. The horse we know's got the right sort of ability. Romantic Maid's an interesting runner here, fresh, and certainly been found by bookmakers. And Tom Alita was huge last time, hit the line beautifully last time out there. Cameron, with his final day of riding, begins a suspension after this Mrs. Hastings on Sunday. Prince Mambo, just not too sure if he's got that speed anymore, but if he does, he could get here and get away with something. Out in front, Nicolette probably to try and Royal Success 3 back the fence. I'm expecting them to be positive with Ocean Emperor and Prodigal Son, and also Katea. Zacada's looking, I reckon this is this horse's year, should be Cup's horse. Karamac's got a tricky barrier draw, but right in this, and I think they'll just be pretty neutral on Tomalila as well.
Yeah, 3-handed Baker Forsman in this race, and they've all got, all 3 of their runners are good chances, aren't they? But I think I've gone for the one that's the longest price, although I missed Zacada's price. What was Zacada?
Zacada, I think, might be a touch longer.
Oh, a touch longer than Nicoletta.
Yeah. Here's Royal Success running second. Presents in the white cap, Prince Mambo, and behind them, probably not suited to being that far back in the field, but hit the line of right here, Jason.
I was initially going to make Prince Mambo a bet, because I thought the run was pretty good. He runs his best races when he's on speed, and he's finished it off okay. But I just got the sense when speaking to Stephen McKee that there may still be another run needed for him to be a bit more confident. It is a field with depth, but if he found the front and the inside at Rotorua is playing red hot, then he'll take some running down.
Ocean Emperor here at Pukekohe finishing into third, did a bit of work outside leader too, so
yeah, in behind Cote d'Or, who's come out and won a Mudda Cup since then as well, so that's not bad.
Wide on the track.
Exactly, and you look at 2 starts back, actually beat Hello Milady at New Plymouth as well, so the form around this horse is good. Is Zabeel Lentar, who they were talking about Cox Plates at one point in his career.
Stop it. They were, but I mean, yeah, you're just quoting what was said, but not a Cox Plate horse, obviously. But I think in this race, definitely a good chance.
You finished? Can we turn the page now?
I like Nicoletta in the race at $15 anyway.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
like
single one out?
Tomalila.
Tomalila.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
All right, fair call. Let's move to Ashburton. Some good racing there. We see the return of Batman lining up in the McRae Painters and Decorators handicap over 1,200 metres. Signify at the top of the book. Another one here for Kate Cow and Jason Tan.
Oh, yes, the one that you'll be putting the money on to win the Jockey Challenge.
On her.
Yeah.
They open her at 10s.
How do you work this race out when it comes to sort of the position and preparations that each of those runners are? Because some of them have bigger targets where they're going to be peaking, and they certainly won't be peaking for Ashburton race 6 on Saturday.
Yeah, and the handicaps as well. Let's bear that in mind. We've got the Copeland's Bakeries Mile and also the Stewards Handicap coming up for these. Cooley and Batman, the two main pace influences in this race. It's a race I think will just be moderately run. Kate Cowan doing the riding for old man Snooky, and I know that's one of her pet goals in her riding career is to win for Dad.
I just wonder if, with Cooley, the fact that they've battled through the winter to get the work into these horses, everybody down there's been no jump outs, have all been called up. I just wonder if they won't be looking for her to have a real gutbuster first up.
Yeah, 54.5 with the 4 kilogram claimer on board. I think that they'll want to get to the front. I don't think it'll be a buster for her anyhow. I think she can just land there.
She's a very good horse.
Good horse. Yeah.
But I just wonder if there might be a couple a little bit further forward.
Fairlight, like you'd expect her to be right there, wouldn't you?
Well, they were speaking stewards races.
Because she stumbled
like
out of the gates last time, so she had an excuse. Like the sidearm didn't show it, but it did show up in the stewards report.
This is a fair bit harder than that race, though. This is a field with more depth.
It is a field with more depth, but I don't know if it's a field with as much intent.
While you're talking, boys, we're just going to play in Signify's placing last time to the races back at Riccarton Park, and you can keep
as Matthew mentioned, whether some of these connections want to be giving their horses gut busters by riding them forward as opposed to just letting them find their feet. Obviously still trying, but not peaking.
Yep, Batman was pretty good this day as well, and looked to be a good run. Kinnidet gets coming up okay by all accounts, was a trial winner at Ashburton. Last month, Wingatui winner in March, last preparation as well. So, and just a shout out to the McRae boys as well, who sponsor the race. Good Maris boys from Ashburton. Spent a bit of time playing footy around them with the McRae players.
Was it just playing footy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Keep it real.
Kin Quo, for him, if he can get Batman out and find the lead, well, that will dictate a big part of the race. On Bloodstream the other day, he wasn't able to muster and got detached a couple of times. So if it's the Kin Quo that can be positive, then I think Batman can be in the finish. If it's the Bloodstream Kin Quo, then you'll know after 200 metres and you probably won't be happy having backed him.
An absolute bummer too during the week, hearing that maybe Miami has suffered a bit of a leg issue, so that's him out basically for the spring, and he was coming up so good, 1,1400. He was ridden beautifully, and the world was his oyster. But unfortunately, that is racing. Our thoughts out to the Hughes team and Mr. Thomas with maybe Miami. Let's have a look at the Arty Petroleum Ashburton Cup race number 9, where we have Two's Not Enough as the horse that we were going to highlight, but it looks like it's out. Two's Not Enough. $3 Lara Fair, $3.50 Patrick Eyre, and $3.50 Flag the Rim. Well, that changes things a wee bit here, boys. Two's Not Enough out. This has now become a little bit more open, eh?
Yeah, I don't think she had a big role to play in the speed map. However, though, I'd expect that Lara Fair and Flag the Groom, who are two of the key chances in the race, as you can see in the market there, are likely on speed. And Patrick Eyre, I think, can probably get handy here with Corey Campbell's taking the 4 off and be somewhere as well. He's just such a genuine horse. I'm a big fan of Patrick Eyre, but you've got to be impressed by what Lara Fair's been doing, running in terrific form. Was only just narrowly beaten behind Platinum Command last time. It beat home Wise Move in that race as well. Exactly, used to be trained there as well by Jan Hay, and back to.
Could be a process of elimination. You could eliminate 3 or 4 of these, and you're left with the 3 solid chances that are dominating the market, Jason.
There's a hot tempo in the race, but the race won't be run at a hot tempo, you wouldn't think. So those horses like Patrick Eyre and La Fair and Flag the Groom right up there, they'll be Quinella and Trifecta in the race, I think.
Yeah, okay. Montrachet on a better track?
Maybe. So
very hard to catch, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's an Imperium job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imperium job. Let's leave it there with Ashburton. Good luck with the bets.
Stressful.
So let's take you to Te Rapa on Monday. We have the big one, the 1400, the James Nenny Sarton Memorial 3-year-old stakes with hard merchandise lining up in the $7.20. Bostonian $4.20, Griffin $8.80, and Xbox at $8.80. We've got some really strong 3-year-old races at the moment, Jason.
Well, they're all starting to come out now. As those tracks improve, there are very few options for these trainers. They just have to be putting them out onto the racetrack. And from a betting perspective, it's a hell of a challenge to try and get a line on some of these. This race is going to be more revealing, and I don't want to encourage sort of sitting it out, but that's what I'll be doing, because Gift of Power, I think she's a quality animal, but she's got a big step up from 1,000 to 1,400 metres. There are plenty of people talking about Prom Queen stepping up to 14, but I think for her, given she's one of the 1,000 Guineas favourites, this is a big step up for her. I mean, this is what she did at Topol. What did you think of this?
Oh, any 3-year-old at this time of the year that can be beating up rating 75 horses, you've got to take note. And this is a very, very good win. She sat outside them on decent speed, and she's just been terrific. I've got no concerns with her going up in distance either. I think she's a really special filly, and I think she's one of the key players for the 1,000 Guineas later on. I think she can be competitive on Monday, and yeah, I've got a lot of respect about her. I think she's a contender for sure.
Horses like Bostonian, Hard Merchandise, they'll be in and around her. We're going to get an excellent line on these, aren't we?
Oh, exactly. This is a Hawke's Bay Guineas form. Hard Merchandise is obviously very good. This see Griffin just going through from the trail. It was a race that was dominated by those on speed. Bostonian had set 3 wide.
Well, what we don't see is the lack of intent early from Mark Duplessis in this race. He pulled after 100 metres and Bostonian was 3 wide. I wonder if he had his time again, Mark, whether he wouldn't have been more positive to sit outside of the leader. And if he had, I think he probably would have won the race, given how close he got to winning the race, sitting 3 wide.
Well, he had options, didn't he? Because Cameron Lammas, who's drawn on his outside, has gone up and been 4 wide outside and when he's 3 wide, and he sent, well, I'm going to the front. So he either could have gone then and sat outside Cameron, or he could have gone inside Cameron and actually led the horse and had Hard Merchandise on the outside. In the end, Bostonian, he had that little slip after the post, which led to the abandonment of the meeting, but he's come through the race well. Before that, he'd won 3 of 3 and was very willing. He's a horse who can lift on the line. So the rematch will be interesting there. Bostonian against Hard Merchandise, how'd you see it?
I think Bostonian over Hard Merchandise on a better track for sure. And yeah, I don't think Hard Merchandise is going to be able to get across Bostonian as easily as what happened in the Hawke's Bay Guineas.
Yes.
He was a length clear, Bostonian, after 100, and he ended up being 3 wide. Now, I'd assume that Cameron Lammas will try to adopt similar tactics, but he's going to have Gift of Power on the inside as well.
Yeah.
But Bostonian's interesting. Star Treasure is improving. Spoke to Stephen McKee about his 2 horses, Star Treasure and Has a Halo. He's happy with both of them. Has a Halo was disappointing at Hastings, but he put that down to the track, and he's pretty confident that you're going to see a lot better horse on Monday for the Sarton Memorial.
Any value for you in the race?
Not really for me at this stage. I can't say that with a high level of confidence that there's too much value there. There are a few questions still to be answered about this.
Definitely, and that is the thing, because there's a few horses coming through the grades, there's a few that have been there and done it, but this is the same every year. So the girls against the boys, and this is the definitive guide towards the 1,000 and 2,000 Guineas. There's a few others taking different paths this year, with Prom Queen going down south, and obviously with it being a bit wetter, it's just sort of thrown a few spanners into the works, but I think we're going to see a really good running of this.
I wonder whether it will be as definitive as maybe previous years, when you've got your Tiako Shark not there, you've got other horses that are going to be lining up at Ashburton on the Saturday, notably Prom Queen for the 1,000 Guineas and Age of Fire for the 2,000 Guineas, with Sensei, who is emerging as a potential star, I suppose.
All right, lads, thanks very much for your input here on the First Call Plus today. We'll catch you same time, same place next week. Happy weekend on the punt.